Waynesboro!
Virginia!
Welcome to the Hotspot.
Thank you guys for coming
The
out.
very first comedy night at the Hotspot. So everybody, regardless how this goes, applaud AB for letting this happen.
Thank you!
Alright, so I'm Ken,
I'm Rosie.
and we're going to be your hosts for this evening.
That's right.
Alright, so, first of all, I know this is like normally a jazz club and everybody here is like way too cool for school and you're used to like sitting in the corner in your sunglasses and your fedora hats, smoking your jazz cigarettes.
Drinking your Blue Moons.
But today, you gotta laugh. If you think something's funny, just laugh. That's all we're saying.
Just mild participation, that's all we're asking for.
Yeah, but if it's not funny, please don't heckle.
Just be quiet.
Yeah, that will silence a comic more than anything else. I get most hecklers are trying to improve the show, but it's like I need what does somebody do for a living?
Heckle.
Huh?
Heckle. Looks like we got a comedian up there.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. That's it for the night.
You're speaking to the crowd. This is called crowd work. Anyone, what do you do out there? Mechanic. Okay, pretend you're like working on a machine and you had your normal 9 to 5 job and like you've been working on it for 4 hours and then the machine totally comes to life and just punches you in the face and pummels you into the ground. That's what being heckled is like. It's like you're supposed to finish your job by the end of a certain time and there's no way you can do it. We had a train of thought, we're being thrown off. Just be nice.
We have a job to do tonight, really. That's what this is about.
If you want to laugh, don't be a dick. Speaking of which, you will hear words like fuck. If that bothers you, please leave. But seriously, tip your bartender. What else do we have to say? Please silence your phones.
Yes, please, that's important.
I realize you got in here for free, so I'm not going to ask you to turn it off. And also, first of all, is Simon Cushman here? No, okay. If anyone wants to try out,
Not try out. We're not asking you to audition before you get on stage.
yeah.
Us or
If
anything
anyone
like that.
wants to do some jokes, just talk to me or Rosie when we're not on stage. And I know you might think you're not able to do this, but you have a funny story you tell at parties. People will laugh. I promise. It'll be great.
And really, we're just here to have fun. So thank you guys for coming out.
Yeah, seriously, thank you for coming out. Do you want to bring out our first comic?
Yes. Our first comic tonight is my darling brother, my baby brother. He's my best friend. I'm so excited that he got to make it here tonight, all the way from Norfolk, Virginia. Please give a round. Washington, D.C. Excuse me. Please give a warm round of applause for my brother Jordan Boswick.
How y'all doing tonight? So, this is really great. There's not very much comedy within like a 50-mile radius from here. So it's really exciting to have a new open mic that's all comedy out here in the Augusta County area. So, my name is Jordan Bostic, and I used to live here. I used to live in Waynesboro, and I kind of lived in Stanton a little bit. And I'm sure a select few of you might know me, but the person that you knew me back then, maybe about 5 years ago, that guy no longer exists. See, I used to live in this area, and I feel like a lot of people, I hate to point this out, because a lot of y'all live here, but I really hated living here. There's nothing to do, like, almost every day of the week. It's pretty cool that it's kind of like starting to build up now, but back then, I was not happy, and the only like real solution that I had to actually get out of Waynesboro was to kind of just go traveling, which sounds really cool, like on paper, but really the way I did it was just kind of like grab a backpack and left. What I did was become a street kid, is what people call it, but it's more like a glorified homeless person. I do the same exact thing that a homeless person would do, like beg for money and eat out of trash cans and sleep near dumpsters and stuff like that. But it's cool because I'm young and it's romantic, you know? So, like, that's pretty much what I did with my life for the past, like, 3 years. I'm kind of getting out of the habit of doing that now after moving to D.C. But, you know, I want to talk to y'all about about regret tonight, since being so well versed in the subject. And I'm sure we have all met the kind of person that that says this phrase. Actually, I'm pretty sure all of us at one point have said this phrase. You can't live without regret, man. You can't do that, man. And that's a cool way to live, and in most aspects, I live that way myself. But honestly, I'm pretty sure more than all of us at least have had like 3 things in our lives that we could have lived without ever saying or ever doing. And telling your wife that she looked good in those pants when she really didn't, or killing a guy or something like that. And that's all great and dandy and whatnot. But I'm gonna share a story about one of the moments that I regret in my life. It's not a nice story. So, one day I was living in Norfolk, Virginia, and my roommate, I was just recovering from a breakup with a girlfriend, and my roommate came home every damn day to see me getting staggeringly drunk watching rerun episodes of The Cosby Show. Because Cosby, he makes you feel good. But, so he got really kind of tired over that about a month after seeing me do that over and over again. And one night he comes home, he's like, dude, let's just go to New York City. Let's go to New York City, let's lift your spirits. It's gonna be great. And about after an hour of convincing me, I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. So we got in the car and we just went to New York City. And we got to New York City, got our hotel and went to sleep. And the first thing we did in the morning is we decided that it'd be really cool to go to the Empire State Building. This is also my first time in New York City, which is a pretty cool place if you've never been there. But we go to the Empire State Building. By the way, it costs $36 to ride an elevator 84 floors up, and then another $10 to ride another elevator the rest of the way up. Capitalism. Anyways, this is where the climax of the story starts. We're waiting in line for the second elevator. So we're about 84 floors up, and we're in line with a bunch of other people. And I look down at my phone to check a text message, and I realized that coincidentally, we are in New York City for my first time ever on 9/11. And this joke is about to go a little bit dark. So, I regret this, by the way. So, we're in line, and I'm like, dude, that's crazy. That is, look, we didn't even plan that. That's so weird. That we're here on 9/11 in the Empire State Building, and we didn't even plan it. And then, alright, I'm not gonna tell you what I said yet. I'm gonna kind of try to build a scenario of what happened while I was saying what I said, and I really wish I didn't say it. But my friend's standing right there, I'm looking dead in the eyes, and I start the next sentence, and I slowly drift away from him and see this blonde-haired girl, who's very pretty, next to her boyfriend, and she looks at me dead in the eyes halfway through my sentence and realizes what I'm saying, and the anger and the disgust radiates from her, and it goes onto me, and for a moment I felt so excited and so happy that she was angry at me, because I kind of get off to that. I kind of like pissing people off. But then I started realizing what I was actually saying was not cool, and that I should not be saying this. And it was like post-ejaculate, that feeling of yes, but no at the same time. And her locking eyes with me, I just wanted to be like, words, come back, words. And alright, so what I said was, it's not funny at all, and it's not tasteful either. So what I said was, wouldn't it be crazy, man, if a plane started flying into this building right now? Everyone in the line went silent. And we had to wait in that line for 20 more minutes. It was silent. The rest of the line. Every time I had to glance over at her, she looked at me with just so angry. I'm pretty sure she was from New York. And I feel so bad about that, because that's not a cool thing to say. ever. And I don't know why I said it, but I don't know why I say most things anyways. But, so, you know, we're waiting in line. Finally, I get into the elevator, and there's room for more people. So this, like, blonde-haired girl is, like, about to be coming inside the elevator, and she looks at the doorman, and she's like, I'll wait for the next elevator. And as the door is slowly shut, she shakes her head at me, and it just, I had to grin. It felt great. I had to smile at that. I mean, I had to make a good exit, you know? All right, so I was tripping mescaline once, and like you do. I'm sure you all know. And like, I don't know what it is. Like, after being a traveling person for a long time, I've like kind of experimented with drugs a little bit. Not too much to where it actually kind of harms me. The furthest I've really done harming my body is with alcohol, honestly. But like with I was tripping mescaline, and with tripping, I don't know why I do this, but I always feel like I need to poop after I trip. It doesn't even matter if I need to poop or if I really even have to poop at all. Like I feel the need that I need to excrete feces out of my body. And like I was tripping mescaline this past year, and mescaline's a completely different kind of hallucinogen. It's like you go through these, like, for people who have done tripped on anything before, it's like you kind of like the visuals go kind of crazy, but with mescaline it goes crazy and you feel like you're about to lose your mind, and it goes down, and it does that again, it gets even higher, and it goes down, and it goes down, and it goes down. But it does that for 8 consecutive hours. So it's like, it's kind of scary a little bit. And I was tripping mescaline in Norfolk, so me and my friends decided that we're going to go to this little place, this little garden called the Bird Sanctuary. And Norfolk is kind of a nasty place to be. If you've ever been there, it's not really cool. It was kind of nice to go tripping into like a nature little spot because you feel more comfortable. But when we got there, I immediately left my friends and decided to go into the woods and be one with the squirrels and like feel nature, and it was beautiful and everything I was getting intimate with. And then the feeling came to me, and I could not fight the feeling. I tried fighting the feeling so hard, and I had to poop. I had to poop so bad. So after a little bit, I was like, my body needs to do this, man. I gotta do this. So I like walked around for a bit trying to find the most beautiful, perfect tree that I could do this poop on. And finally, I found this tree, and it spoke to me in volumes. So this tree and I made this emotional connection. I talked to the tree. I was like, tree, I'm going to give you some great soil. I am going to poop on you, my friends, my dear friend tree. I'm going to do this. So I got ready. I bent myself over, and I pooped there. And immediately as I got up, I pulled my pants back on, and I tried to walk away. And then my eyes locked into my feces. And for some goddamn reason, I could not leave my feces. So I stood there for like 5 minutes just going, wow, that just came out of me. Why did that just come out of me? And after staring at it up here, from this standpoint, I decided maybe I should examine this. And I just went down into my, like, right about here, staring into my poop like I could learn some deep meaning about life from my feces. This shit goes through your mind when you're on mescaline, by the way. So I just stared there, and for 30 fucking minutes, I just stared at my poop. And you know what I learned from my poop? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing I learned from my poop. Which is, I mean, I guess that makes a lot of sense about life. You know, you don't really need to learn anything. So, yeah, I've gone traveling a lot, and I've met a lot of really cool people. And, you know, traveling's kind of hard to quit doing, like, even like as a hitchhiker or, you know, like a bum, pretty much. But it's beautiful, though. You meet some really great people, and you meet some really interesting people. Okay. So this one of my favorite kind of people that I met traveling, I call them the punks. And when I was hanging out in Minnesota, I went to a punk show with my friend Brittany. And Brittany has, she's an alcoholic, so she has kind of kidney problems, stuff like that. And we went to this punk show, and we were dancing around and rioting, mosh pitting and whatever. And like this random dude is fucking dancing around and accidentally kicks Brittany in the side, right where her kidney is. And she just vomits on the floor. And like from nowhere, this fucking dude just came out of nowhere, comes up to it and sees, oh, vomit, this is great, and just fucking grabs the vomit and pours it on top of himself. Like he's like praising to the god of vomit. It was fucking beautiful and brilliant, and it happened like that. I loved it. And like those kind of people like make me so happy about life. I don't know what it is. But thank y'all for letting me talk to y'all tonight. My name is Jordan Bostic, and y'all have a great night.
Keep going for Jordan Bostic. All right, your next comedian is one of the hosts of the show. For her first set of the evening, please welcome Rosie Wagner.
All right. Hello, everyone. So, I was thinking about why I even want to do this. And I think that in the trajectory of my life, I can pinpoint it exactly to what connected me with wanting to be on stage, and not just a like creative, like making things beautiful way, but in a completely making fun of everything way, in a way that makes all of us laugh together, right? My first experience on stage, well, let me just tell it as a story. Once upon a time, in a castle far away called Waynesboro High School, there was a new girl. And this new girl was trying so hard to fit in. She had no idea how to fit into this very small community. And she decided that the best way to do that was to audition for the musical Guys and Dolls that was coming up for that spring. It was a beautiful experience. She went up to the audition. She sang her heart out. Maybe she didn't hit all of the notes. But you know what? She was charismatic and confident, and she was very proud of herself and did very well. Totally expecting a part when she got off stage. The next day, however, she goes up to the drama room door, and her name's not one on the list as far as, parts with a name or whatever. She ended up having all of the little small bit parts that requires people to run around quickly and have fast mood changes and like costume changes and miming and things like that. And she was bitter. I'm not gonna lie to you. She was a bitter girl. She wanted the lead part. She deserved it, damn it. She did so well at the audition. So this girl got her idea in her head. She was gonna exact revenge on the High School Musical play. Revenge, you say? Her means of revenge was through something that I don't think all of you might consider intimidating. Women's underwear. Now, to you maybe women's underwear is not intimidating, but I promise you to a teenage boy it is, and the lead of that play just happened to be a teenage boy. So the girl was in luck. She knew that she had to practice, I guess, and she decided to test her theory of panties being intimidating by setting up a little experiment. During dress rehearsal, she had to change the wings. No one else had to change the wings, just her. But the other moms in the production had assured her that her lily white body was not going to be viewed by those horn dogs in the other production. And they orchestrated some bed sheets or something to keep her from being seen. During dress rehearsal, she found her moment. During the chaos, one of the boys came running through to get into his position. And just at that moment, the mother hens could not find those bed sheets that they had carefully placed so that the woman would not, the young girl would not be tainted. And as she looked up, she decided to undress. She had to go on there. It was a dress rehearsal. It was the part of the show. She had to do it. She took off her wardrobe, and the boy turned the corner, and perfectly in time with everything going on, the boy ran around the corner and saw pink underwear, just as his mother came running back from the dressing room with those bed sheets that had somehow been lost. I don't know how they've been lost. And the reaction on his face and the chaos that ensued in that production was priceless. And she knew that she was going to cause complete chaos in the opening night. So she was excited by this information, and she waited a couple weeks. She planted herself, waiting for a perfect opportunity. And there it was. The lead boy was having to do a very complicated maneuver where he had to go on stage and then run back into the wings and then immediately run back on stage. Well, at this opportune moment, on opening night, the girl decided to place herself in the wings where that boy had to run out on stage and see her flip her dress up with pink polka dot underwear right for his face to see, and then have to run back on stage to deliver his lines. Now, I guess any person would be shocked by seeing something like that and having to deliver a line immediately after. It was just impossible. So naturally the boy forgot his lines. And that was her moment of revenge! That small, insignificant hiccup in the play was enough for her. But it really wasn't about, messing up the entire play for her. She was happy enough with the moment off stage when he ran out, screaming, "Who did that?" And all of the production knew that he had been embarrassed. She was, not really that satisfied, but it happened. So, who's going to the Waffle House tonight after the shows?
Yeah.
Woo. Waffle House is my mecca. I love Waffle House. Waffle House is completely comforting to me. I think that it's a magical place. The thing that's magical about the Waffle House is that it's like when you walk into the Waffle House, you're walking into a different dimension that is just every Waffle House that you've ever been into. It doesn't matter where you are in the country, if you're in a big city or a small city, every single Waffle House is exactly the same. Next time you go to Waffle House, I challenge you to play Waffle House Bingo. You will find these characters and you will make bingo, I promise you. There is always a family coming from Sunday service to feed their children quickly so that they may watch the game at home quietly because their children are being fed. No matter what day it is, it doesn't matter if it's Sunday or not, there will be a Sunday school teacher there. There's always grandmas, there's always truckers, and the truckers are the key to it. They're the guardians of the Waffle House. They are there to ensure that Waffle House law is upheld. And Waffle House is an interesting place because Waffle House is exempt from all state and federal laws. Waffle House governs itself by the truckers. That's what they're there for. So you could commit any crime as long as it makes sense under and justice is exacted within Waffle House walls. You could murder somebody as long the way that I'm sorry. I also love Waffle House because it feels like whenever you walk into a Waffle House, you're just walking into a fight. no matter where you are. It's like walking, you get to feel those old Western saloons. It's like you're being transported into a time that's not your own. You walk into a Waffle House and it doesn't matter who's sitting on those stools. It could be your very grandmother. She will glare at you like you've wronged her for walking in that door, which does not make sense. It's a travel location. People eat there when they're trying to get to and from a place. This doesn't make sense. So I also love Waffle House because I feel like I said, I could get in a fight anywhere, and I love getting in fights, so. But I love that Waffle House does govern itself. It feels like that only happens because it's so open. You know exactly what is going on with every waitress as soon as you walk into that Waffle House. Whatever drama, they'll tell you. You can ask them. You'll never see them again. You've never seen them before. But you can ask the waitress, why are you acting so bitchy towards that cook? Oh, he fucked my mom. Just honestly. Oh, okay, that's understandable. So anyway, not to transition completely on you, but I am, one of the big things in my life right now is that I am a mom. And there's nothing really funny to say about that. I don't have any like funny witticisms about like changing diapers or like, you know, the daily chore of being a mom. And that's just because I love my children so much and I just can't, there's no funny thing. I can do anything for them. I'll do anything for them because they make me so happy. But there is one thing about motherhood that I hadn't expected. When you become a parent, sometimes it becomes, how should I say this? It's like there's an open invitation to the world to judge you to your face, and you're not allowed to say anything. Like, the grocery store is the perfect example of this. If you go to a grocery store and you're a parent, you will be talked to, first of all. And second of all, the old people will find you and tell you how horrible a job you are doing at parenting your child. I walked into a grocery store just trying to buy bread and milk. That's it, bread and milk. That's all I wanted. I wanted to get in and out quickly. But I hadn't planned ahead. I hadn't considered the time of day it was. It was 10 a.m. on a Wednesday. And as I was getting my child into his cart and pulling into getting ready to walk into the Walmart, I noticed a Shady Oaks retirement facility bus pull up with the weekly judges of my life. If you ever go into any grocery store, really, you'll notice if there's any older generations of people there, they're never congregating together. They've always spread out through the store to block you so that you have to go through every aisle to get whatever you want, even if it's just two things like milk and bread. It's like a labyrinth of geriatrics that you're trying to get through. One day I was making my rounds and I turned the corner past the Cheez-Its and there she was, waiting with her cart. I'm pretty sure that they are giving each other hand signals at this point. They must know that I'm coming. And she stopped me right in my tracks. Oh my God, what an adorable child. Are you getting enough sleep, baby? You look like you've got rags or rings around your eyes. Mommy really needs to find a babysitter if she's gonna be working the street extra late. What am I supposed to say to that? Like, I can't say anything to her because she already told me that my child is awesome. I received a compliment. I can't like trash her. She's also a grandma. That would be horrible for me to just be like, bitch, fuck you. Yeah, whore. Most of the time. So that's all I have tonight, for right now, actually. Thank you very much. Let me bring the stage Kenn.
Keep it going for Rosie. The Bostics are really, really talented at comedy and wrapping up mics and stands. So, do you ever think, I took this out of the mic, I need this for this first joke. Do you think, you know, when he was hanging on the cross, because he was a carpenter, that Jesus, like, ever, you know, basking in the comfort of knowing he was going home, ever just, like, noted the wood they hung him on? Well, sandalwood, interesting choice. I saw a bunch of, like, somebody posted a status on Facebook that said that the word twerk has been officially added to the English vernacular. And there are all these people commenting on it like, oh, this is so horrible, this is the worst day of my life, I'm going to kill myself. And I'm like, twerk is a very specific motion. Like, we now have a word to refer to it. I said it and you knew what I meant. But all this uproar got me thinking, were there protesters of other words when they got put into the dictionary, like racism, Merriam, Webster, by definition, that word makes me look bad. You know, I try not to be racist, but I just cannot stand people who jog competitively. You know, don't you hate it when someone uses you as an example in a comedy cliche? This guy knows what I'm talking about. So I was into a lot of things when I was a kid. I was into like video games and comics, but my dad never wanted to like engage me on any of those levels. Instead, I have a memory of him teaching me how to install a wall socket. I don't know, I guess he thought that would be a better outlet for me. It wasn't until I got a little older and looked back on it that I was like, letting a kid play with electricity. Shocking, right? So it's great to see so many people I know. I've been doing this for like a year and a half and I've never done it for people I know. So it's great to see all you people that I know here. I'm making a Batman movie, in case most of you don't know, with my pal Vincent. Is Sean here?
I told him to be here.
Okay, Sean's not here, but for those of you that don't know, it's an indie project. That's the joke. See, I didn't really think that all of you were like, oh, that's what Zack Snyder looks like. He's doing comedy in Virginia. Who knew he was so short and chubby? I wonder if Ben Affleck's hiding out in the back. You know, I like to use proper punctuation and spelling and capitalization, but I still don't really get grammar Nazis. Like, as long as we're getting the point across, why does it really matter? For instance, say some scientist comes up with a cure for cancer and global warming in the same week, and then he sends it to his secretary, and she types it all up, and she just happens to be a dumb secretary, so there's a few typos. And he sends it to his grammar Nazi community of colleagues, and they're like, Y-O-U-R is not a contraction of U-R, this guy is full of shit. You know, I got a lot of family members that like to blame the Democrats for how high unemployment is. I disagree. You know who I like to blame? The mannequins. Think about it. How many jobs were available before they just appeared in all the department stores across the nation, snapping them all up? Fucking manners. Hey, do you guys know what the seafood chef said when he presented his brand new condiment? Tardar. Hey, isn't it weird that people call short jokes one-liners as if you don't need a follow-up punchline to make the audience laugh? All right, so I'm gonna get to our next comic. Here's Tom Wagner for his very first comedy set ever. Please invite him up here. It's gonna be great.
So this is gonna be really interesting for everybody, including me. So when I was younger and first got my driver's license, got my first car. I was always taught that to obey all the traffic signs that are on the road. That's what my dad taught me. It's the law. You have to obey the traffic signs. So I was driving with a couple friends one night, and we saw the sign that said, speed limit 25 miles an hour ahead. So I looked at the other two guys in the car with me, and they were doing 75 through a school zone. And I kind of realized this might not be a good idea. We should probably slow down a little bit. And I saw another sign that said, no parking, stopping, or standing. And I sat there for a second and I thought, how the fuck did they put that sign up then? Doesn't make sense to me. I saw a sign once. You guys have probably seen the sign that says do not pass. So after like 45 minutes of nothing happening, I figured I was gonna just pass this fucking sign. There's nothing going on. The best sign I've seen, the best road sign I've seen, says caution, blind entrance ahead. And I think to myself, that's pretty cool. They have their own entrance and all. Doesn't seem like kind of a waste of a sign though. And actually, I'm not even really sure they should be driving. It's kind of like Braille on the drive-up ATM. It's kind of really fucking confusing. I don't understand why they do that. What else was I talking about? Oh, I'm thinking about giving up fast food. Sounds noble, right? I mean, to cut out fast food is bad for your heart, it's gonna kill you. I know that nothing good can come from a double baconator. I really understand that. But they're fucking delicious. I can't help it. I can't. When I'm sitting at the drive-thru window and welcome to Wendy's, can I take your... Actually, it's more like... I just can't help myself. I'm like, give me a double baconator. Of course. But it's not because of my health that I'm giving it up. It's just because they're getting fucking crazy. They're losing their minds with the shit that they're putting on these menus. They're combining shit. I saw an ad, a sign the other day for a barbecue ranch salad. And I like barbecue sauce. Who doesn't? I like ranch dressing, and I like salad from time to time, but combining them all together just doesn't sound that appetizing to me. And I'm worried because I know at some point they're just gonna keep adding shit together, making up food that you think you want to eat. I mean, everybody wants to be high society. Everyone feels, for some reason, like you're gonna go to McDonald's and get caviar someday or something ridiculous like that. But eventually they're gonna run out of shit to talk about. They're gonna run out of food to combine together in a bowl and sell it to you with fries and a drink for $4.99. Eventually they're gonna run out of shit. And I'm really excited about that day. I'm really looking forward to pulling up to Burger King and having them offer me the brand new flame broiled. I'm sorry. I'm gonna pull up and they're gonna offer me the new flame broiled placenta burger or something ridiculous like that. But be in competition with everybody else. I mean, how long do you really think it's gonna be after the placenta burger before we're treated to the come try the new barbecue bacon McAfterbirth sandwich for a limited time only at McDonald's for $1.99 or some crazy shit? It just doesn't make sense to me, but. That's all I really have, Ken. So if you'd like to come back up here, or Rosie. But thank you guys.
Thank you so much. I just have a question. Is Simon Cushman here yet? I feel like he's next. No, I don't think so. All right, we have a very special guest, actually a celebrity guest tonight. That's right. Let me bring to the stage R2D2.
Beepity beep 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 boop. Yep, that's all anyone ever wants to hear.
I'm sorry, I've been drinking a little. This probably wasn't a good idea, but I just needed to get some things off my chest. Listen. Do you know how hard it is? Every time they want to go to war, they're like, R2, you want to co-pilot? Yeah, that'd be great. I'll just go get my head blown off and get fixed just in time to watch everyone else earn a medal. That sounds great. You know, I'm an actor. I'm a droid that's been working since the 70s. Do you know how hard, you want to see me, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I'm your only hope. I'm not doing that tonight. I do that at every set. You know it's coming. Listen, people don't respect me. They did an E! True Hollywood Story, and they made me look like a fool. I was kidnapped by midgets. I was sold in their garage sale. A farmer bought me and put me in oil, and I ran away and couldn't leave. They forced me to kill people. But when none of that's happening, what do? They don't call me. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about what Beep Beep Boop has to say. And when I do have something to say, the giant gold man just tells him something else. Fuck it. I quit. You know, they said they wanted me for those prequel movies, and I don't want to admit it, but I think I've had enough drinks that I'll admit it. Most of those shots weren't really me. See, I gained some weight since the first pictures, and they only used me for the close-ups. That's some trivia. You go home, you put on Attack of the Clones, be like, that's a computer. I know you couldn't tell, but that's a computer. Listen. All your friends call you to do when you're a droid is open doors. That's all I'm good for. Does anyone out there own a truck? You know how you have friends that only call you when they're moving? That's me opening doors. Anyway, I know I just needed to get a few things off my chest. I didn't have a lot of jokes, but I appreciate you guys listening to me. Oh, this oil bath is gonna feel so good. Thank you.
That you wouldn't even think about. I bet that they could tap into your elbow somehow and make you cum your eyeballs out. But I only want to sleep with massage therapists once. I feel like it would be horrible to be married to them. Can you imagine those arguments? Oh my God! You know how many hand jobs I've had to do this week? So that was that. My guy friend and I were talking about lesbians recently, and he was talking about how relieving and refreshing it is to be around a woman that expresses the same worldview as him. Worldview meaning being able to see tits all the time and remark on them. And I don't really think that's that unusual. I mean, why do you think that gay men and straight women have such fantastic relationships? It's not all Barbie dream house all the time with and makeovers. They're talking about dicks. You realize that. And they're probably talking about your dick. Just a thought. All right. I think I'm gonna bring to the stage Mike Smith. Please welcome him.
All right, Mike!
How's everybody doing tonight? Can I ask a question real quick? Is everyone drunk?
Not yet?
Yeah. Shit, this is gonna be really hard. Now I gotta be funny. I usually like to start these things out by telling you guys a little bit about myself. I'm from upstate New York, and I'm from a German home. And when I say a German home, I mean I've actually had German family, not German heritage crap. And Germans do a lot of things different than Americans. Americans, when a baby cries, you give them a bottle of milk, you pat them on the back, change their diaper. When a German baby cries, you give them a bottle of wine. When I say a bottle of wine, I mean an actual bottle of wine, slap the nipple on, here you go, have at it. Yeah. My parents, I'm the oldest of 4, so my parents, I was their test child. Both my parents, mom and dad, just looking at each other going, give it to that one. We'll see what happens. And my dad, he was an asshole. I'm gonna be blunt. My mom was the caring one, so I have no idea what to do with the wire, I just keep playing with it. My mom, she was the caring one, so my dad, would just let me do stupid shit all the time. I'd run at a light socket with a knife, my mom would be like, no, Mike, don't do that. No. Let it happen. He'll only do it once. He'll only do it once. The best phrase a parent has ever said. There's a lot of shit I only did once. I'm surprised I made it this far. Light socket, only did that once. Drove a dirt bike into a set of trees, only did that once. Jump off the roof into a half-filled kiddie pool. I did that twice. Hey, you missed! Do it again, I'll get the camera. Yeah, my dad was an asshole. My uncle, for years, he paid me $1 every time I touched his electric fence. I bought my first car with all that money. He was telling me a story one time about how he caught a deer. He grabbed it by the hind legs, and the deer bit the fence. And the electricity went through the deer and shocked the hell out of him. Apparently, he was trying to keep his dinosaurs in because he had it set really high. And he said he was on the ground, confused, and he looks up and just the deer runs away perfectly fine. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. So he looks at me and he goes, "Give you $2 if you grab your cousin's hand and she grabs the fence." It's the best $2 I ever made. For years, I had a cousin that tried to kill me. Beat the shit out of me every day she saw me. Or he saw me. Sorry. Shh. Beat the shit out of me all the time, tried to run me over with a tractor, cracked my head open. He was a big, strong guy. Okay, it was a chick. She was strong, though. She was tough. 75 pounds. But she played the mind game. Stand there, I'll kick your ass. Okay. Yeah, that was a little bit of my childhood. So now I'm a parent. I've got 2 little boys. I was waiting for that, thank you. I'm a proud parent. I've got 1 little boy that's 3 months old. Oh, you. And I've got another one that's 2. I was waiting for, somebody knows. I feel your pain. No, I love having kids that are this close together. They're just far enough apart to where they're in 2 different stages. My 3-month-old, he's in that stage where it's, aww. My other one, he's 2, and he's in the stage where it's aww. Shit, he did it again. So I realized, where my parents screwed up. I did a lot of stupid shit as a kid, and I realized there was a lot of other stupid shit I could have done. So now that I have a 2-year-old, it's like, hey, you know what Daddy didn't do? What? Ride down the basement stairs on a trash can lid. Go do it. I get yelled at a lot. My son, when he was 14 months old, and this shows just how cool my kid is. When he was 14 months old, he climbed up on the couch, got up on the arm of the couch, nosedived the hardwood floor, gets up and just goes, I'm thinking, that kid is either going to be a pro football star, or he's going to be a crash test dummy. Either way, he's going to make money. Exactly, job security. So we have any pet owners? A lot. Well, that's really bright, so I can't see. So this joke is going to kind of get ruined a little bit. Somebody raise your hand if you're a pet owner. Preferably a dog. If you own a cat, there's no point. They're only good for Chinese food. Really? That's the bad joke of the night? Oh my god. Alright, so who said they own a dog?
Right here.
Right there.
Oh yeah.
Alright, I can barely see you, the lights are on. Alright, what kind of dog do you have?
Pitbull.
I see.
The best.
The best.
The best.
What do you look like? Can't really see you all that well. This kind of ruins the joke. Okay. Okay. He kind of fits, right? Like he has a pit bull, right? You know, it kind of suits his.
They're lovable, man.
It suits his personality, right? I have a dog. Can anyone guess what kind of dog I have?
Chihuahua.
You're damn right. I have a Chihuahua. Not only do I have a Chihuahua, he is obese. I did not know that a dog could be obese, like actually be labeled obese. But I took him to the vet. And my dog's always been happy. He's a little fat puppy. He's cute. He's adorable. Took him to the vet, and the vet walks in and just immediately goes, "Damn!" What was that for? He's like a bowling ball with legs. That's mean. So he goes, "I gotta weigh your dog now." I'm like, "Okay, cool." He like grunted as he picked him up and just like, "You know what? You're not helping his self-esteem." Okay, he was a Chihuahua to start with. That's bad. So he picks up the dog and he puts it on the scale and he goes, "Holy shit." I'm like, "You are a shitty doctor." He goes, "Your dog weighs 17 pounds. I'm like, "Okay. The average weight for this type of dog is 7 pounds. I'm like, "Okay. That's bad." He goes, "Your dog is morbidly obese. I will start a training regimen tomorrow. Just don't like turn me into CPS or DPS. Dog Protective Services." I figured I'd throw that out there. But I've learned a few things owning a Chihuahua that you need to know if you ever have a Chihuahua. Does anyone have a Chihuahua? You do? So you might know what I'm talking about. Okay, with Chihuahuas, there's a few things you can't do. Number one, you cannot get up from the couch too quick. They will pee. You cannot walk too fast. They will pee. You cannot make loud noises. They will pee. And if you kick your dog over the house, the neighbors will call the cops. I've learned this. Now, I've already talked to you about my family and my pets and everything like that. But I want to go on and tell you that I'm in my second marriage. I love my wife to death. My first marriage was tough. But being married to my wife now, she fits in with my family so well. And I've never had anyone do that, like any girlfriends or anything like that, that fit in with my family so well. And I will explain why. I have a 16-year-old sister who is a bright young girl. She's got a beautiful future ahead of her. But her version of common sense is the 2 quarters and a dime she has in her pocket. She is an idiot. She was in gym class a couple years ago, and she was playing basketball, and someone passed her the ball, and it jammed her finger. She thought it was broken, so my mom rushed her to the hospital. And while she's in the hospital, the nurse comes in, and she's asking her some questions. She goes, "You know, what's your name?" My sister gives her her name. "What's your weight?" Gives her the weight. Age. Gives her the age. And then the nurse goes, "When was your last period?" My sister did not miss a beat and goes, "Gym." And she goes, "No. When was your last period?" "Gym. My mom just bought me from there." My mom's shaking her head in the corner of the room. "No, you idiot. When was your last menstrual period?" "Oh, not gym. No, not gym." And like I said, my wife fits into that so well. Like she just mixes right on in with the family. My wife thought it'd be interesting to bring up the other day that blind people can't use phones, so she wondered if they were going to come out with a Braille touchscreen phone. I had to explain to her the complexities with that, on how it would have to constantly change, and when you touch it, it would set on to something else. Everyone understand that? Okay, I'll further this a little bit. So we just moved. Just bought a house in Stanton. Thank you, someone likes Stanton. I'm from New York, so to me it's Staunton. Staunton. Yeah. Okay, so we just bought a house over there. And I didn't want to pay electricity in 2 places, so I went ahead and shut the other one off while I figured, hey, we're going to go ahead and get the rest of the stuff out. So we're over there, and my wife decides she has a coat rack on the wall that she wants to take off, you know. I'm like, okay, well, how are you going to do that? I didn't bring any tools. She goes, oh, there's a drill in the next room. Okay. So she goes and gets the drill and comes on out and stands by the door and goes, you know there's no plug over here? Yep. I paused and I waited for a few minutes, and she's still looking around going, there is seriously no plug right here. I'm like, yep. You know, honey, it's awful cold in here. Yeah, but there's no plug over here anywhere. I can't find one. Honey, it's really cold in here. Oh, we don't have the power on. All right, well, that's all I got tonight, guys. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a good night.
Keep it going for Mike Smith. So, I had never experienced deep throat before, and I wanted to see what that was all about. So I just put an ad in the Craigslist personals. Yeah, I said I had a special thing for chicks who are into bulimia. If you didn't like that joke, you're gonna hate the rest of this set. I had sex with my old girlfriend today. Yeah? Yeah, well, no, it was a pretty big deal because she said when you're in your 80s, it's not so frequent. That was a joke. That's not true. I'm actually married. My wife is here tonight. Yeah, Hillary Edwards. Give it up for her. We've been in a relationship of one form or another for about 10 years now, and I got to tell you, that woman is incredible. We just entered this amazing new stage of our relationship, the blowjob phase.
Your mom's not here.
She
Yes, she is.
Oh, yes, she is.
You think I give a fuck?
Word jokes on somebody.
And now that the timing of the punchline is ruined, I'll give it anyway. And I'll tell you, that woman is incredible. Because she knows exactly how long it'll take me to make the other guy come. So, I've been babysitting my 2-year-old nephew recently. And I never thought I'd be the kind of guy that like has fun chilling with a baby. But I have made some amusing observations. Mainly, this kid does not stop touching his dick. I mean, he doesn't understand social faux pas, so all day he's really just like yanking on it as hard as he can. And I've developed a theory that these are the boys that grow up to have bigger dicks than others. Now, Ken, what evidence do you have to support that, you ask? Well, I only have my big dick to go on. And how else can you explain my father taking such interest down there when I was little? Yeah, he was really good to me. Do you guys remember the first time you masturbated? I do. I got scared. I freaked out. I thought I broke it. That's why I wish that maybe a friend had been there just to let me know everything was going to be okay, that I could do this process again, because it felt good and I want to do it again. So for this reason, when I have a little boy, I'm going to teach him how to masturbate before he comes of age. Don't worry, I'm not going to show him or do it for him. I'm not that good of a father. I'll just Google how to masturbate male and leave the laptop on his bed. Because that's the gift that keeps on giving. He can be turning 40, 30 years later, and I'll be like, you still jerking it from time to time, Junior? Okay, good, happy birthday. So, I'm a little apprehensive to talk about this next thing, but that's why I've been drinking a whole lot, to get myself ready for it. So, there's some of you that are going to judge me for what I'm about to say, and I made my peace with that.
We won't judge you, man.
Oh, there are some people that will.
Not us and the fat man.
All right, so I was feeling horny recently, and I viewed something, and that something happened to be a gangbang. Look, you can judge me if you want, but that view count didn't get that high on its own, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't all just me. So, this was incredible. I'm never watching porn again because what I saw was just like, it can't be topped. Let me set the scene for you. Well, in most gangbang videos, if you like fast forward to 15 minutes in, so I hear, you're looking at the worst of the world. Like, nobody is having a good time. There's two archetypes of girls in a gangbang video. There's the like super pretty model type that's like obviously paid to be there. And then there's like the drunk college co-ed who's feeling adventurous. But like this occurrence was so unique because on guy number 15, she was still having a great time. But not for the reasons you would think. Let me tell you about it. This gangbang was set up by a friend. And it was as if all roads in her life had led to this moment. This was the happiest day of her life because she had decided that this is the day that she would become pregnant. And because she explains at the beginning of the video, because who wouldn't want to know the backstory here, that she believes that if you state something out loud into the world, that you will manifest it into existence. So, her friend who organized this, very supportive friend, really, brings 25 guys in, and the chick dismisses 5 of them. Like, they're not good enough for her. If the sexes were reversed, this chick is living every guy's fantasy. And so, they state the rules. You have to come inside her, and as you're coming, you have to state, it's going to be a girl, it's going to be a girl, because that's what she wanted. So throughout this process, every single guy that takes their next place in line, her friend, who's leaning over the table, fully clothed, is reminding them of their line, like, don't forget to say it's going to be a girl. She's a good friend, looking out for her, knowing she wanted a girl. So, what I wanted to tell you about was like, this is all being filmed, because this is an enigma. This is the world's very first good-natured gangbang, where everybody walks away feeling better about themselves. That doesn't happen, but you could tell this camera operator was a dude, because dudes, never being satisfied with the amount of sex present in their lives, on like guy number 15 in line, she's still having a great time, make it a girl. He has this like overtop view of everything, yet he pans up to the friend who's fully clothed and zooms in on her cleavage for about 10 seconds. That's how I know the camera operator was a guy. And I don't really know the end of the story. I assume she got pregnant. I mean, let's all hope so, right? For her sake. That'd be a waste of a day otherwise. But I didn't make it to the end because I was the next guy in line. Boom, comedy, thank you. All right. For her second set of the evening, I'm gonna bring up my co-host, Rosie Wagner. Give it up for her. Thank you.
All right. So if I haven't gotten personal yet, I'd like to get just a step farther mothers and fathers are here, it seems. I feel like we've seen all of our family here tonight, except for my family. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because I'm afraid of what I say. It's not because I'm afraid that they'll be offended of me. It's because I know that they'll enjoy it too much. No matter what I say about them, they'll just be like, oh yes, I've gotten applause again, and I didn't even have to do any of the work. Now, I don't want you to think that I don't love my parents. I do love my parents very much, especially my mother. I am very close with my mother, and I appreciate everything she's done for me. She's taught me compassion and loving towards other cultures and just how to be a good human being. And I've had an anxiety attack every month, pretty much, like clockwork, since I was 8 years old, because I can't imagine life without her. So since I've been 8 years old, I've been planning her funeral. I know that sounds very dark, but again, remember that she would appreciate anything that I have to say about her as long as she's getting attention. My perfect fantasy about my mother's funeral. Let me just give you a backstory. The reason why I'm planning her funeral is because, like I said, I have anxiety and I'm also very depressed. I feel like a lot of people are very surprised by that because I have such a bubbly personality or whatever. And it's just a defense mechanism. I want to assure you, this is not real Rosie. Real Rosie is like a starving kitten while listening to Cure music. Like, that's me, normal. So I've developed this defense mechanism, and the best, analogy that I can give you to, illustrate how I am is the anglerfish. If you know what the anglerfish is, it's a disgusting deep-sea fish that has a light in front of it that attracts other little fish so they feed it. And I, like the anglerfish, have this light of personality out in front of me that's bubbly and inviting, and I want you to laugh at me and please give me attention. But behind it is Freddy Krueger's goldfish waiting to suck the life out of you. So because I have such a depressive mood and I'm always harping on worrying about my mother dying, I decided to think about the worst case scenario. What's the worst thing that can happen with my mom? Well, she could die. That would be the worst. And I would have to have something that would get me through those couple months of not seeing her to sort of push me, to keep me from crawling into a hole and just evaporating into nothingness. And my fantasy is the perfect one line. I just have just one line, just one, and I know, well, let me just set it up for you. I picture myself walking towards my mother's casket, a beautiful casket with, wood or whatever, and flowers and stuff, and people crying. I guess people do that at funerals. And I can imagine all of my friends and family and all of her loved ones strewn across the room, sharing warm memories of how much of a good person she was. And I walk up to her casket, taking my time, mind you. I want to enjoy this. Enjoy my mother's funeral. The scenario that I imagine is me walking up to my mother's casket with my father standing right next to me, just exhausted with grief, and see his face and those all across the room look to me to say something that will bring everyone together and remind everyone that her love will stand the test of time. I imagine walking up to my mother's casket, looking at her face for the very last time, and saying, "What a fucking cunt." And just watching all of the faces just erupt in disgust and shame. And it would be worth it to me. I know that all of that disapproval seems like the bad thing to do for something that's suppressed, but the thing that you have to understand about somebody that's suppressed is that I already assume everyone hates me. So that stuff doesn't matter. I don't care if they all have a wave of disgust and spit on me on my way out of the funeral. I know that at least one person will be standing at the back of the room laughing their ass off. Because you know what? She was a fucking cunt. That's my set. Thank you guys so much.
Hey, keep going for Rosie. You guys having a good time? Me too. All right, so this next set is this guy's first comedy set, I believe. All right, give it up for my friend Brooks Hoover.
So I've never done this before, so if I like pass out or go into a seizure, just like wait 5 minutes. And if I don't gain consciousness, keep waiting. Where's Rosie? So you were talking about hand jobs earlier. I'm like Don Draper. I can't turn down an old fashioned, so let me hit you up later about that. And for your brother, where's your brother?
You want a hand job for him too?
No, he was talking about the poop joke. I don't know if I can top that, but I'm gonna try. So I really like spicy food, like love it. And I've never had Thai food before, but a couple years ago I was in Moab, Utah. I went to a Thai restaurant, and on the menu they had like a little rating system, 1 to 4 stars about how spicy you wanted it. And so when they came up to the table to take an order, I was just like, make it as spicy as humanly possible. I want to feel it. So like halfway through the meal, I loved it, but I had to like drink water, which was really good. But I had never had Thai food before, and it was super spicy. So the next day, I felt Shiva's wrath. And you know, sometimes when you have to take a dump, and then you like go into the stalls, and there's the regular stall, and then there's the handicap stall. I use the handicap stall because I needed that hand rub, so I could be like, ah! But you ever dry heat? Imagine doing that out your ass. It was bad. Going more into toilets, I like to travel to South America. Yes, let's talk about toilets in different parts of countries. So in Japan, I was in like a 7-story building, and I had to go to like the 5th floor because they wanted to make you run, apparently, when you had to really go. And there were 2 stalls. There was the Western stall, and I was like, okay, regular toilet. And then there was another one that said Japanese stall. What's that? I was like, I'll bite. And it was literally like, so you know how the toilet is, like this? Imagine like a ceramic hole in the ground. And you kind of have to do one of these numbers. So I tried that, and honestly, it was the most liberating and comfortable shit I've ever taken. So now I have to, go outside and do it like a dog. But so some of my friends are in the audience right now, and they know me from high school and other walks of life, but from like Rob over there, he knew me from football. And back in football season, no one really knew me, so there was this one guy named, you guys might have heard of him recently, Jesse Balin. Also, Waynesboro High School is most likely to break bad. But when he was talking to me, he's like, oh, what's up? My last name is Hoover, so people just called me Hoover back then. And he's like, oh, Hoover, nice to meet you, man. We were talking to each other, and like, oh, what's your dad do? Oh, he's an OBGYN. What's that? Oh, that's an obstetrician and a gynecologist. What's that? I'm gonna put this in terms you can understand. He's a pussy doctor. Dude, that's awesome. No. Truth be told, one of the toughest jobs. I mean, you gotta be down there in the thick of it all day. It's like war. Sometimes they have these little things. It's like a duck. It's like a duck nut. You gotta stick it in there and spread like the Red Sea. And sometimes there's a little air that comes out. I think some of you might have known it. It's called a queef. Right in the face. Now, for me, I didn't know what a queef was when I was 16 and lost my virginity. And I heard it, and I was looking at my partner at the time. I was like, "Did you just fart?" And so, yeah, I got a lot of shit in high school. And, you know, my dad being OBGYN, all my friends were like, "Oh, Hoover, you must like know all like the best things." When you think about sex, when men come, it's just like, "Oh," and that's it. Women are a whole lot more complex. You know, it's like. Good. All right, guys, thank you. That's all I got.
Sean's here. Everyone applaud. Sean. All right, I'm going to do 2 quick songs for you guys. They're silly songs. It's going to take me a second to set up here, but order a drink. And by the way, after my songs here, we're going to, hold on, Patrick Demio is going to play after we're done here. Hang out, have a few drinks. I'm going to set up now. Yeah. I think we'll be okay. Can you guys hear that? Can you hear that? I'm ready to start. Now y'all remember the great Apollo 11? Landed up on the moon in 1969. Made great things for this wonderful country. Like America's #1 of all mankind. But what if I told you none of that really happened? It was all just funny laughs like in that picture films. You'd say, Ken, now you're talking kind of funny. And I'd say, listen, little sheep, I'm gonna tell you all what is real. You know, back on that tragic day we still remember, that awful surprise act of terror in 2001? Well, there's things about that day that didn't tell you. Like it was all just our world leaders having some fun. Now, I won't bore you with the details or proof. There's plenty of stuff the news can easily spin. Just trust me, it was a ploy to charge more for oil. Why else would terrorists attack and just let us win? Now y'all are feeling pretty darn uncomfortable, aren't you? I know it's a lot of information to swallow, but that's not even the half of it. Just listen. I spoke recently with my pal Satan. Did y'all know he's that author of that nifty book? It's that fantasy with the talking snakes and the guides. He says you can't get a good following without a fun hook. I said, Satan, what exactly is your end game? He just laughed and said, there wasn't one. I told him, Satan, some people live a life they think is full of meaning. He said, that's what makes letting them down all the fun. But to be honest, the government knows all this too. They know all these things and they secretly agree. See, they figured it all out and they want my brain. They want to harness its power to see what future they can see. That's why I've developed a team to keep me safe. A whole group of truthers who want to rebel. I give them information and they keep me hidden. Forever safe inside in this padded cell. All right, who's married out there? All right. This is a song for all the married couples. Oh, I couldn't live a single day without you. Actually, on second thought, well, I suppose I could. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, honey, you're the greatest. Well, at any rate, I guess you're pretty good. Now it seems to me I'm relatively lucky. I know I probably couldn't ask for too much more. I honestly can say you're an above average lady. You're almost just what I've been looking for. You're sort of everything I ever wanted. You're not perfect, but I love you anyhow. You're the woman that I always dream of. Well, not really, but you're good enough for now. You're pretty close to what I'd always hoped for. That's why my love for you is fairly strong. And I swear I'm never gonna leave you, darling, at least till something better comes along. Everybody, you're sort of everything I ever wanted. Like, you know the chorus. You're not perfect, but I love you anyhow. You're the woman that I always dreamed of. Well, not really, but you're good enough for now. Well, not really, but you're good enough for now. All right. I don't know how we're going to do this next segment, but we have 5 minutes left. This was my co-host's idea. AB, can we get some low funk music going?
So here's what's about to happen. I'm about to mediate a silly off. And I've never done this before. So here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna bring two comics you've already seen to the stage. Everyone welcome Rosie Wagner and Jordan Bostic. And we're gonna have a silly off. Now, Rosie, do you want to explain the rules of the silly off?
Jordan and I are going to do 3 rounds, taking turns, each giving our best silly material. Jordan's already perfect, look at him. And we're going to do this Apollo style, so we are going to need to know who won each round by your round of applause after each round, and judging each of us. Only again, 3 rounds, so if it's horrible, you don't have to sit through much. But it's complete random silliness. And thank you, Kenn, for hosting.
Alright. First off, before we get started, a silly off basically involves being silly on stage. You don't have to say anything. Basically, you gotta be drunk. That's the only qualification, right?
Grab one, wait.
So, this is the part where we invite people up to be contestants in our silly off. Please, somebody, anybody, silly off. Do you have a physical, expressive body? Come on. One of you out there has to. I will literally stand here and not say anything and let this silly Ghostbusters music play until somebody volunteers. The literally word didn't work. I really tried. All right, so, Vincent, are you coming up? Yes, we got it. We got it. I'm the 3rd contestant for the silly off. Brandon, silly off? Yeah, we got 4 silly off contestants. All right. So now we're getting ready for round 1, and I am not the judge here. I'm just the mediator. You guys are the judges. Applause is going to judge the silly off. So, AB, when I say go, we're going to need a little louder for 10 seconds. So, Rosie's our first one up. Silly off takes place in 3, 2, 1. Hold on. Go. Give it up for Rosie Wagner! Alright, that was pretty good, pretty good. Jordan, you think you can follow this up? Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. I think that was the silliest because he was the only one that said Ghostbusters. All right. How did Rosie do, first of all? That sounds like a pretty good response. Now what about Jordan? All right. This is still round 1. We got 2 more rounds to go. Vincent, let's see what you got in 3, 2, 1, go! Give it up for Vincent. All right, we got our 4th contestant, Brandon Donovan, coming up right now. In 3, 2, 1, go! Look at that. Give it up for Brandon. Now I'm just gonna restate, this is for silliness, not for dance cred. But that's respectable too. Do we have a 5th contestant here? You're leaving that one? Come on, man. Will you guys allow a 5th contestant? Yeah! All right, what's your name, man?
Well, people know me as Jaeger Man.
Jacob?
Jaegerman. All right, we got our 5th round 1 silly off from Jaegerman in 3, 2, 1, go.
And then one song came, but it's so raining man. Hallelujah, it's so raining man. Hey, hey, I'm sorry, these guys look good. I just wanted to look good. Fuck me for being honest. You look great. You look great. You look beautiful.
I think somebody fancies Jordan. Another person fancies Jordan. No, that was pretty silly. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We really appreciate you guys showing out. Thank you so much.
Look, we don't have time for 2 more rounds. Just let me know. I'm gonna name off everyone, and I don't need you to be diplomatic. Give me honest applause for your vote, okay? You're gonna hurt some feelings tonight, and it's gonna feel good. All right, who wants to vote for Rosie Wagner as the winner of the Silly Off? All right, pretty good, pretty good. Now, who wants to vote for Jordan Bostic in the Silly Off? All right, here we go. Vincent Otterbray? And finally, who wants to vote for Brandon Donovan in the Silly Off? Well, I think our winner is clearly Jordan Boston. Jordan, give us, AB, put it up, turn it up, give us an encore performance, go. All right, thank you guys seriously for coming out to our stand-up show. This is our first time. We had a great turnout. We appreciate all of you guys. Please come. Hopefully next month when we put on another one of these. You guys were a great crowd. I really appreciate it. I cannot stress that enough. And now, coming up soon, we've got our acoustic set. There's going to be music all for the rest of the night. So stay out, have some drinks, and again, give it up for the Hot Spot for making this happen. Thank you, everyone. Seriously.